Welcome. Thank you for tapping in, turning on, tuning in. We are back. I am back. I am excited to be back. I really am. But sometimes we got to learn to balance the scales in our own lives and we just adjust the sails accordingly and we keep on doing as we do. So either way, welcome to this episode 4, right? We're on episode 4. Although I have watched ahead and remember, I got my notes. I got a lot of notes covering the Netflix series Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. And so if you have not seen this and you want to see this, then please happily off, watch it. When you do, come back and then you can engage too, because this is your warning. This is a spoiler alert, because I will speak freely. However it is going to be that I decide to start to discuss each and every single one of these episodes as we go in for this evolutionary, revolutionary paradigm shift that we are going to have here as we uplift and see this timeline happen right before our eyes. I keep cross-referencing information. Remember, don't believe everything that which you receive. Do your own research, come to your own understanding of certain things. So there's a lot of misinformations being thrown every which way. So we try to grab the ones that I find interesting or stand out for me in some kind of way. Feel free to comment and let me know what else you would like me to articulate further on in regards to Jeffrey Dahmer's story, right? So either way, this is entertainment for your entertainment. You are a conscious folk, responsible and accountable for that which you think, do, say, behave. You know what I'm saying? So everything articulated here in these videos is my opinion, which I'm entitled to and free to have based off of whatever comes out of these real-time unscripted videos that I am creating for you. But I hear a lot of sound noise, so I'll be right back. Let me close that window. Who is Jeffrey Dahmer? A sick, twisted human lacking in certain kind of what can it possibly be that it was missing from his component, his structure, his entire being, that was like some synapse was not firing off in his entire human? Because I don't know everybody's belief systems here, and I'm not going to pretend to know, but we are more than these human vessels that are perceived to be real. Here we are souls having a human experience, so to speak. So what missing part of his evolution or his genetic disposition, DNA, had him haywired and crossed in a different kind of way to navigate in the way that he saw as, so I just wanted to strangle them to death, fornicate with their dead bodies, necromancy. Then I just got this wonderful idea to for some of them I boiled their flesh to watch it slip off the bone. Meaty be the bone, so the thicker the skin, meatier the flesh, and the melting of that. And I just wanted to put it in a smoothie and just drink them. And also, again, that's just my added part of the disgust and all that kind of stuff happening. You know what I mean? So yeah, so like, where did the line not get drawn in his entire like system? And I giggle and whatever because that's how I transmutate them bitches up in here. It's like, right, what's going on? So, with this, I'm looking like a redhead. It's like, whoa. I washed my hair, guys. So the straight hair gone missing because curly be my wave. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. So yeah, so we're gonna get into episode 4. Because it just keeps on getting very disturbing. The more we travel down Dahmer's whole mode of existence, then I came across some new crosswire, haywire information, like as to, we can credit this monster and say, oh, well, he was so forthcoming with his tally up of all the bodies that he encountered, that he slaughtered and mutilated and stuff like that. And, why would he lie? But I'm coming across some new information, and I forget what episode that was. Give me a second, por favor. You don't know what I'm saying, right? I think it is episode, I think 7. So episode 7, where there's some confusion with somebody else that's not on his anyways, we'll talk about that when we get there and stuff like that. But episode 4 I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 pages for episode 4. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Right. So we got a lot to uncover, to unpack here, to unload, to decode, to speak on, to further cross-reference, because remember, the show, the Netflix series, please don't quote the Netflix series, for it's also based on fiction. So there's a lot of added, like, and then also, so I had came across information, because this is as we learn certain stuff. So the woman that plays Niecy Nash, that actual woman did not live in his building. She lived adjacent to where he was. And so when they saw the Laotian boy from episode 2 or 3, oh no. Anyways, when so sorry guys, that boy, they saw him in the alleyway that connected the 2 adjacent buildings. So I'm gonna get photos. Actually, I'm gonna write that down, right? Because I want to get photos of the way that the and then you can look at it, my community thing. When I get the photos, I'm gonna put it in the community place tab. I don't know this language, guys. In the community place that I could like text openly to you guys and put pictures and things like that. That please, right? That please. So if you look in the community, I'm gonna get photos. I'm gonna get them, right, of the adjacent buildings, so that you can understand why she could have still been so nosy in certain kind of ways, because I want to know. But now I want to learn about the people, his direct neighbors, because what the fudge? Why is this next door adjacent lady, right? See, so that also should show you the leveling of fictionalization, right? Fictionalization that happens just for Netflix series to get your panties in a bunch, because right, look at me, episode 1, 2, and 3 up until 4, I'm like pissy pants because Niecy Nash is depicting that she lives right there, that she could smell it and all this kind of stuff. And now we gotta reread cross reference all these informations, because like, was there a stench? Were people talking about this? Or was it just the Niecy Nash now that lives in an adjacent building that's not even in the damn building and just happens to be as nosy as can be, and good thing, because she's seen a lot of things. And then now that I get to episode number 7 and all this kind of stuff, and Jesse Jackson come up in the mix, we'll get there when we get there. Like, so yeah, that's interesting. Okay, the turn of events. So now it's like, how much did this monster really get away with, and how sloppy? Because even in a future little episode, there's an episode that we'll get to that, but he had a cleaning person cleaning up his place, and that supposedly is supposed to fall in line with right after the Laotian kid, and soon after he got caught that year in 1991. So, and also because the stories of how they go from episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're going every which way in no particular order or thing, and keep going back and all this kind of stuff. So it could be like, whoa, what year is this? What happened and when? You know what I'm saying? So I did write down, and I started to do that, the year and in the order that which he killed the people, so that we don't get lost when Netflix is going back and forth and stuff like that. Because I started to like be like, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened here? So we don't want to do so much of that. But going back into the reference, what was I saying? I just got so much on this brain because so much is going on in every kind of way, and it's just like, oh my goodness, like for real, and so much misinformation, and we don't want to be so misinformation out. So don't get so like panties up in a bunch, although you should, because either way, this man was doing these things, and clearly something could have happened to further stop this shit, especially when we get to the Laotian boy story, because either way, that was just like, nah, people didn't do their job there. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not, even with this new information of misinformation and all this kind of stuff going through, that still doesn't change the opinion of mine about what went down and how it went down, and how those officers that were involved should have been further like handled. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting so caught up into what this could have been made into, too, part of it like race and more like, heavy loads of ancestral trauma and drama being dragged into now misday moments. You know what I'm saying? So people can get so lost in trauma that they create more drama instead of just having accountability and responsibility for what was already, and granted, it's on a grander scale of things that need to be fixed in the system of governments and all this kind of stuff. And we can break that apart and pick at this and stuff like that. But when everyone can come together unified to say, hey, something here is just not right, and we need to unify, harmonize this, unify for the greater good of the all and stuff like that, and all that's involved, and just have some accountability, responsibility for the individuals that we are now, and that the responsibility that we have as a unit to unify what is greater and good for the all should just be done. You heard those crows? The symbology of even crows in our in the depiction of like Hollywood and stuff, people always associate that with negative omens and stuff. And they are such majestic creatures with wisdom to bestow upon us and messages to deliver if one chooses to listen instead of naturally object, you know? So, yeah, so yeah, so there's just a lot of misinformation and a lot of things that, you know, I want to take into consideration as we unpack and load and do different stuff here and talk about different things here in each of the episodes. Right, because it's so easy to get lost. So also check the community tab, because I'm going to share that list there. So I'm going to say that the community tab, I'm going to share the list of names in order to list names of in order to the kill, right? Because there's an episode 7 that it's just like, right? That's what I was saying about him. Like, you know, how much information, you know, and how much trust can you have in this individual who committed such heinous crimes and acts against humanity, right? And was able to carry out such grotesque. I can't even talk about grotesque because it's so grotesque. Right? It's the vomit in my mouth. Like, stop. Right? So again, the psychology in that and the genetics in that and the synapses in that, like I just see a synapse not circuiting, or a new circuiting synapse of some sort that creates that other kind of existence to exist, right? But if we go deep into this, like, you know, we go into our childhood psychological wounds of openness, and maybe there's just certain individuals that gravitate to the urge more than the sacrifice or the notion of, it's just so complex. Like, I don't even know, like, to unpack that, unload that. But anyways, I want to go into episode 4, right? Into all of that. So just check the community tab. And granted, my channel is a multi-dimensional channel, and there'll be numerous things on that. So make sure to always check on that so that you see it as it happens, or hit the notification bell so that you're notified whenever anything does go up, so you see it in the time that you can see it and stuff like that, right? So episode 4 starts in a bathhouse in Ohio in 1991. So you see what I mean about the skipping back and forth and all this kind of stuff or whatever. So this is like a heavy load of information. So there's even a part, spoiler alert, okay, where they show him like enjoying drinking blood, because he works at this medical office, and this medical office deals with blood. He got a job and shit like that. And so you also see him going on job interviews, right? So yeah, you see him going on job interviews and being interviewed, and you can see his awkwardness, his weirdness, and all this kind of stuff, and just, you know, different. And I don't want to say awkward and weirdness, because I've been awkward and I've been called weird and stuff. So we don't want to like say for, you know, discriminate against awkward and weird and stuff like that. But clearly there was something not in its right sensibleness, like I said, like with the synapses, right? When it comes to Jeffrey Dahmer and the way that he thinks and stuff like that. And even when they try to humanize him a little bit in episodes 6 and 7 and all this kind of stuff, and I see all that kind of stuff, there is a sense of detachment that exists from his entire existence of being, that even he's not connected to in this realm of existence of world, and that leveling of detachment and isolation and removed from even being able to feel any kind of living sensation that could be remotely healthy in some kind of right and way, at least in this lifetime or so far, up until we don't know. I haven't traveled yet. Like, I'm traveling with you as I'm talking to, but the leveling of redemption that he had surrendered to, because even in another episode that I saw later on ahead, even this is me playing around, like spoiler alerts and all this kind of stuff, he was like, for all the stuff that I've done, I shouldn't be alive. Like, is that that omission of guilt or surrender? Is that vulnerability? Is that an act of remorse and all this kind of, you can think about it, because an act of remorse would be to like, sort of like get like crash. I crash in full humility and remorse for that which I have done. Forgive me, like, forgive me. This act of like surrender of that's why, like, all these husbands now and in the media that are coming out and cheating on their wives, and they're talking about, now I'm gonna focus on my family and all this. Like, it's just like typical protocol of like publicists writing for you that what you must say to make right and to make amends in some kind of way, but no remorse, no act of humility, no surrender, like, oh my God, please forgive me for even forsaking you, kind of like, like, forgive me, I am so sorry. Like, I know I get real worked up, but that's just the Pisces moon in me, okay? I am the fucking sea, right? So it's like, well, again, I didn't watch all the episodes, so I don't know what we're building up to here, but still, like, the act of like the way that he's depicted, and based off of just, even if you watch the live, like, actual videos of the real Jeffrey Dahmer speaking, there is just apathy and certain kind of thing that you just cannot. It's like, energy is energy, and that's it. Like, it just doesn't exist. Like, that connection with this, even when they try to humanize him in a sort of setting, like when we get to episode 7, we're gonna unload that, because based off of even what I'm hearing from the media and all this kind of stuff, like, just out there, like, I try not to listen too much because I don't want to spoil it for myself and stuff like that, but a lot of like, what, like, because, spoiler alert, is Jeffrey Dahmer in love? But what did he do with the person he loves? We'll talk about that in episode 7. But, oh my gosh. So again, but like, and I have a different take on that too, because something about the buildup of even just how he handles things, like just how your brain can go from A to Z in another alphabet altogether. It's like A to Z. Wait a minute, this is not even Z. Absolutely, because this is another planet type shit. That's why you didn't think about this. Like, when you think about it, like, I knew something was going on in there, but you don't think that, right? So that's why you gotta go to the president, and then the people that can think crazy shit, and all the creatives or the artists or the writers or the people that can come up with some other type of scenarios in mind. Like, how do you even let your mind go there? They'll call you crazy, they'll call you like, whatever the case may be, but like, think about it. Open to all the infinite possibilities of everything, you know what I mean? And if you come from a traumatic background, you'd be surprised what we can imagine up in here could go down, right? Especially if you've been part of this upside down planet for quite some time, and just like, yeah, I believe in monsters in many different lights, right? So anyway, so so I'm reading something that I wrote. So when they were talking, right, because this is the bathhouse, right? So I checked. Oh, so yeah, talking about the bathhouse. So this depiction in episode 4 of him drinking this blood and actually like 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 if it's orgasmic is actually quite not true, supposedly too, right? Because according to the real Jeffrey Dahmer, he did try to drink blood, but he spit it out like gagged or whatever. It didn't work. So he did try doing it, but it wasn't something that, you know, he liked. But either way, there is a term for that, which is called clinical vampirism, Renfield syndrome, also known as Renfield syndrome. So if you wanted to look into that, because there is a condition where people do enjoy blood in those kind of disgusting ways. That's all I gotta say. This is my opinion. I don't care if I offended anybody that likes to drink blood. But if you ever tasted your own blood and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, interesting. I said that. All right, so this is also the episode where they show how long he's been left alone. So when his father comes back with the new chick, right, in episode 4, right, even though we start off in a bathhouse, right, so he got known in bathhouses. And he also, spoiler alert, right, got banned from bathhouses. So we even go there. So we could talk about a build-up of this. So his name was already down in the bathhouse system, like Jeff, this dude named Jeff. He drugs him and fucking leaves him there for dead, like kind of like that. Like, so not necessarily that he was strangling. So let me write that down. So this is why this is good. This is good that we're talking about this, because, right, so what else are we going to find out? So how true are the bathhouse scenes, right? Because according to Netflix, right, I keep on, because I get so emotional and I get all like Pisces moon, teary eye, and then I can't breathe, like, because I get boogies and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go blow my nose. I'll be back and wash my hands, okay? All right, there's so much to cover, but then I start munching behind the scenes. So yeah, so we start off in the bathhouse. I don't know where I left off before I hit pause and stuff like that, but yeah. So there's a lot to unpack, right? So they start off in a bathhouse, and I wrote down how true are the bathhouse scenes. So we're going to find that out, and I'm going to do a little bit research on that too, so we can cross-reference that too, right? Because if that is the case, then this is here another opportunity where just what is wrong with our human conditioning that would allow for something like that to just continue or be a possibility, thinking that just if we alert those that we know about this possibility of this meeting this person that is banned from these bathhouses now, right? This type of person, then we're doing our service. Meanwhile, they don't have to meet. So if they're banned from your fucking bath services and all this kind of stuff, bathhouses and all this kind of stuff, they're gonna just find another fucking place to do and get away with and hurt somebody else. Like, but the fact that you don't want to get involved and get alert the business and the police, which is another plausible argument here, right? That the people here have about how much the police in that district, right? Police in that district failed the community, right? In that district failed the community of people that lived there and who felt unheard, right? Because if we jump forward to episode 7 with Niecy Nash and Jesse Jackson and all that kind of stuff, just the finally feeling a little bit heard, like the breakdown of cry that can happen at this time. It's like, I tried and I just that didn't feel heard. And how often does that cry go? And it starts in the family. It starts in the nuclear family, right? It starts in our homes. And that's where the injustice first begins, where we don't feel heard. The injustice begins. So this is when I say, we can call him a monster in every kind of way and all this kind of stuff. And how we can just point and say, oh, it's race, it's this, it's black, it's white, it's this, it's every fucking body. That's where I'm at, and I know I get real worked up, and I got like I got a lot of fire in me, okay, like lava. I got a lot of fire and water in my chart. I have earth, but again, like I said, I got a lot of fire and a lot of water in my chart, and I got air too. But again, it only helps out to spread fire ablaze. It's just like that's his participation and instigation. Okay, grounded here on earth. There goes my earth's elevation. Well, I got a lot of fire and water, lava, ready to burst. Right? So we can argue and be like, oh, it's this, it's that, is every fucking body. Because the injustice first begins at home. That first unheard cry. Oh, that first unheard cry. And if we go and we can humanize and have some compassion for Jeffrey Dahmer, we can go, wow, from the womb, because his mom was overly medicated, taking 26 pills plus and all this kind of stuff, and they were fighting, and that was rough, and granted and all this kind of stuff, and she was already deemed mentally unstable and all this kind of stuff, and had no love, so it appears, towards her fucking unborn child. And out of the womb came he, the devil spawn in some kind of degree, and no maternal instinct towards he. And granted, we can give him some sympathy, but that's as much poetry you're gonna get from me, because he still did what he did and continued to do that what you did. So whatever. So all these people that claim to have no clue. That's how I feel. Like, I'm just gonna laugh. They're like, why are you laughing in my face? Because that's the insult to the injury, that you come here ejaculating in my face that you had no clue. You had no clue, or you just did not do like for others that come in new on the scene and may not know everything, like these police officers. They can say they had no clue, but they just did not do their job, and that's why they had no clue. Because had they did their job, right, they would have developed a clue. As they did their difference on her car in the nuclear home, in the nuclear family, right? Home where the injustice in life and the cry is the breakdown of the system of traditional family, right? The traditional family that purely exists now today, right? The traditional family, right? And the family unit. And he comes from that traditional family, mother, father, right? And the both seemed devoid of emotion and stuff like that. So here in episode 4, you learn also what I was saying about how long he was left alone when he was in high school. The mother, when the father brings home another woman just out of thin air, Cherie, right? That was her name, I think, or whatever. The place is a disaster. He's complaining. There's a stench. This flowing stench that appears to follow Jeffrey Dahmer everywhere he goes. So like no matter what apartment or place he moves into, this stench, oh, that's my taxidermy stuff. I already told you, that's my hobby. That's my taxidermy stuff. I already told you, that's my art. Right? Based on the father's interview in Oprah, it doesn't appear this taxidermy stuff is so much true, because the father claims no clue, right? And that's so true. So was the stench even true? I would have to imagine because he has rotting flesh and corpse in his place. That has to stink. That has to stink. And he has no like proper cleaning you like things to clean up guts and after every slaughter and kill, like he doesn't have those proper cleaning utensils. And if depicted right in the apartment that he was 1991 when he got caught, he had carpet. I hate carpet because I have pets. Okay, so when I look for apartment, house, whatever, my idea, because of how much I love pets, I prefer floor. Like, you know what I mean? Hardwood floors, whatever the case may be, or other kinds of, you know, materials and things like that we could look into and have, but carpets stay clear from, because that's disgusting, especially with pets. It's just, you know, a lot of more deep cleaning that needs to be done. It seems everywhere he moves into, there's some kind of carpet, especially. So what professional cleaning, aside from when I seen in episode 7, this professional cleaning that he all of a sudden was getting done, how often did he have those? And did the professional cleaners never question blood-stained carpets? Like, I don't understand. Do you understand where I'm going with all these? Or the more I watch and the more that I see, or the more that I learn of all the possibilities and all the kind of things that was going down for Jeffrey Dahmer to go through and commit his crimes out in town and successfully get away with this somehow, is going to bring me back into that energy, frequency, vibration kind of element of quality of life, to say, hey, if you want to align and you want to alchemize, right, you just got to get into that leveling of alchemy within you to know your truth, right? And there was nothing that was going to stand before him to stop him from doing that which he did, because it just became so easy for him, as he says. It just was so easy. So the universe, he was creating with his universe. He was creating with his universe, right? Yeah, that's how it is. So so here you also show in episode 4, right? Oh, he was sent to the army. And he got honorably discharged. Some shit like that. So we're gonna look into that too. His honorable discharge. And when asked about it on his job interview, right, he said due to his booze drinking, which he has conquered, right, in some kind of degree, some kind of way, right? So, right, because he got kicked out of Ohio State, his GPA was 0.45, right? And also from Ohio State, it is, oh, right. So we're gonna look into that, his college experience, because based off of that college experience, did he have victims who survived, but still had victims? Because it shows that he may have had college victims as well. So also there was a stigma when his father was mentioning to him, when his father popped up on him out of nowhere, right, bringing back to how long he was by himself out of high school and never applied to any kind of college. His father comes home with some random chick and asks him like, what's going on with this mess? This place stinks and all this kind of stuff. He already had his first kill from that Tony guy, I think, or whatever, the hitchhiker and shit like that, that he almost got freaking caught for that too, when he was trying to get rid of the body that he dismembered. Then too, the police officers sent him back after swerving on the road, and we were going to check into that too, right? So the swerving on the road. But anyways, right, so there's just so much like where is this? So this is like a whole universal cry of earthly stupidity existing here, because there's just so many things that have transpired, that it's just like, hey, how did more of this transpire? Because stupid is as stupid does, right? So part of even just watching episode 4, the highlighted lesson that I even started writing down was of allowing people to feel safe in opening up, right? We don't know everything. Like part of like the depiction, like this was just me coming from a compassionate perspective, like, okay, I'm gonna open up and try to see where Jeffrey Dahmer could have, like, you know, maybe he could have started opening up and talking a little bit more about what was going on internally within himself, right? I started watching little clips of like Dr. Phil stuff, that there's controversy about the kind of topics and stuff like that, or people that come to see him, or that they publicize their business in regards to their children or their families about what's going on. But I actually find this to be very helpful in every kind of way. It's not like, you know, fine, he's, you know, making a profit or whatever the case may be from all this kind of, you know, the people's vulnerabilities and stuff like that, but it's very educational, right? So there's people that have children that are displaying like psychopathic tendencies and stuff like that, so they go on to these shows and, you know, they're trying to get help for their children, and granted, it's being put on full audience and display, but you can learn from this shit in every kind of way, because look at, had he had that kind of interference of parents that were actually paying the fuck attention to him, right? They were able to say, you know what, there's something going on here with our son that's quite not right, and this is beyond the scope of my fucking ability as a parent to be able to help my child. So I want to seek the best kind of fucking help that I can for him in every kind of way that's going to help him not act on these impulses that he is clearly having, and he's showing that he can act out and do. Right. So had they paid attention to those kind, could all those other people have been saved? And even if their son would have been locked up, so there's a child that got locked up away because he wanted to, anyways, I don't even want to get into that, but anyways, I'm just saying, and granted it's made public information and stuff like that, but it's for educational purposes. This is why I'm even doing this. This is for evolutionary purposes, right? So imagine, so the highlight for me in episode 4 that I just want to reiterate some more is just to imagine, like, we sometimes say, tell me, and then I get this Jack Nicholson kind of moment. It's like, tell me the truth. You can't handle the truth. And this is what this episode really, like, you know, reminds me of. And it brings me to episode 7, that moment when Niecy Nash finally felt heard. And we'll talk about that in episode 7. But in episode 4, it's like, it's reminding me of like, wow, he never had an opportunity to express himself honestly and openly, because it was always shut down, and they truly intuitively avoided it. Because anytime he came close to what appeared to like admit something or say something, his father dismissed and deflected and started talking about something else. And so it just reminds me, and just as a mother, I love being a mother. I think that's honestly the best thing I've done. You know? And so it's an honor to be able to be one, and to be the best one that I can possibly be. You know, and that's a learning experience. We're not born knowing how to do this. Like, you know, we learn and we grow. So I think about that as a parent, and how even me as a child did not feel heard. And so this episode, like, as a person, as a human being, as a soul having a human experience, we don't know everything, even if we think we do. And if we really want to understand something, then we need to understand that everyone needs to feel heard in some kind of way, even if we don't understand it. And if we're not capable of giving that to somebody else, then let us be at least accountable and responsible for that understanding within our own being, and give the person the respect and floor space that they need to say, hey, I'm not equipped to be that person for you. At least be honest about where you stand too, so that there's no miscommunication happening. But hey, I want to be supportive of you in every kind of way, and I want to be able to give you that floor in kind of way. Maybe we can find somebody or the right person to speak for you to speak to in regards to all of this. You know, handling things with a solution, resolution. So these are just my responses and my honest opinions in regards to what this episode strongly just hurt my heart and made me feel, you know? And so I think about that. And so then also this army shit that went down. Spoiler alert, right? See? I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so yeah, so where were we? I don't even know. But yeah. Oh yeah. so if there's anything that we can get from all of this, right? It would be to, let's be mindful of being super mindful and compassionate towards those we say we love and care for, especially if we're the nuclear family. And whatever you mean by nuclear family, it means that out of this womb, whether it's a home, it's foster care, like whatever kind of living situation, the first home, the nuclear home that sends out the person out into the world, that nuclear foundation. Let us be a little bit more mindful and compassionate towards those that we are united with. Because that nuclear foundation is so essential to the breed of seed that we become indeed, you know, in every kind of way. And let us be the most easiest of persons for our loved ones to come to in anything and everything, knowing that it is our wisdom and respect that they will always meet in everything. Because that's the type of breed, of seed, of example that I intend to always operate my vessel out of, no matter what is happening around. So, yeah, evolutionary, revolutionary, right? So let's get back into episode 4. Right, right, because father avoids the whole situation, because this is the thing. So humanizing him, right? So this is when his father came in and was sitting down trying to talk to him and like, what are you gonna do with your life? Just before they sent him off into the army. And Jeff was having this like moment, and his father is sitting across from him with his wife, his girlfriend, or whatever the hell she is to him, after learning that the mother was gone for 3 months and all this kind of stuff, and they're trying to figure out what he's going to do with his life. So Jeff is telling his father, he's like, what am I doing? Because this is even the stigma in community college. She was like, what about a community college? You didn't apply to a community college or something? And he's like, community colleges are for failures. And I just thought about that too. And I was just like, wow, the stigma and that kind of thought too, like education is education. and what you do with that is what you do with that, and all that you do with that. You know what I'm saying? It depends upon you as the individual to be the breed of seed of what you need to be or want to be and desire to be and manifest to be, and actually put in the work that's needed to be, that's worth every kind of effort from you to do that what you must in order to be the whole that you want to be. You know what I mean? So don't get me started on that kind of shit, you know, shitology. You want to be like, well, okay, you want to make excuses, or you want to just get into the nitty gritty about why it is that you're not happy with your life. You know what I'm saying? But Jeff Dahmer is a whole other kind of breed, right? So he's like, what am I doing? Why I wrote it down. Let me see. Jeff, why am I doing? Why do I try to pretend to be something that I'm not? I don't fit in. I'm weird. I'm different. So he was expressing that something was wrong with him, right? And the things that he wants to do, right? And that he wants to tell somebody these fantasies, and his father's like, oh, like sex stuff, and then his father goes immediately into deflection and did not allow him to finish his expression, which is fuck, you know, like think about it. Like he was about to try to tell him about these desires that he has, and like he needs a little bit of help, like, you know what I mean? And the father avoids the whole topic of conversation, and then his solution is like, okay, you're gonna go to Ohio State. I'm gonna get you into Ohio State. And then mind you, he goes into Ohio State, doesn't even make it into a full fucking like a semester or two because his GPA is 0.45. And here's depicted like that he did take advantage of he had inappropriate relations with people from Ohio State. So I'm gonna look into that too, right? So in Ohio State, did he have true victims? And also in the Army, right? Because in the Army he was discharged, right? And he also stole from the medical army place. Halcyon, Halcion. I don't know if it's a medication, but we'll look into that. But anyways, yeah, so many different things, right? Then, his high school yearbook, he jumped in on a picture. I don't know how true this story is too, but he jumped in on a picture of like the honor roll kids or something. And when it was developed, they realized that Jeff Dahmer was in that picture, and they were like, what is he doing there? So they blacked him out. So when he received the yearbook, it's shown that he's like hurt by this. Like, so yeah, so after his first kill, it's emphasized here too that he waited 9 years after, like, before he actually killed again. So what else? Got kicked out of the army. This is in 1981. Angry, and dropped him off again. His father keeps just dropping him off or handing him off for someone else to handle and deal with him. So this is when he dropped him off to his grandmother. So he lived with his grandmother for the next 9 years, right? Because he got kicked out of the army, and all this kind of stuff. He was also, because in the army, he became an army medic. Fort Sam Houston, Texas, West Germany combat medic. That's what he did, right? Of course, he became a medic. So he would tell his grandmother that he was a bad egg. His grandma would say, no, he just needs a nice girl. She's saying church can help his other urges, his homosexuality. That was how that was, that's how that was referred to. So yeah, so 20-year-old. Oh, so yeah, David. Okay, so got fired from his medical job, became a regular gay at the gay club. He became a regular at the gay club. He became blacklisted at the bathhouse. So I'm telling you, so much to unpack in episode 4. Then there's Davis Preston. Preston Davis accused Jeffrey that he drugged and raped him. This is between October 5th and October 25th, 1979. Claims he was a racist, lost time memory gaps amidst to previous killing. So I forgot where this was at. So I wrote reference to notes in episode 2. So give me a second as I sort through this. So 2, where did I write more stuff? Right, because his grams too. She in an article, his grandmother's name is Catherine Jemima Hughes, unaware of the murders that happened under her own roof. Okay, so yeah. Right. So, anyways, so yeah, and then there was Billy Capshaw, 17, roommate of Jeff. You see, this is a roommate, claims he was sexually assaulted too, tortured and controlled him for 18 months. Surviving Jeffrey Dahmer.org, right? So we're gonna look at that. So I'm gonna look at this, right? So hold on 1 second. So we're gonna go to that, right? Surviving Jeffrey Dahmer.org, right? Because these two people, so this is, I think, either when he was in college or in the army. I'm not sure because no, well, the 18 months has to be the army because we know that he was in college for less than a semester, I think, right? So surviving drunk, beat him with an iron bar, status changed to AWOL. Oh, yeah. Billy Capshaw. So we'll look up Billy Capshaw, right? And that story. He was 17 years old, roommate of Jeff's, right? This is a roommate. We'll look into that. He was claims he was sexually assaulted, tortured, and controlled for 18 fucking months. Okay, and then listed as AWOL, right? And then another 20-year-old Preston Davis accused Jeffrey of being drugged and raped, claimed he was a racist, right? Lost time and memory gaps admits to previously killing before. So he killed somebody, right? Then this is the episode 2 because I don't know if I spoke about it in episode 2 or 3 where he stole a mannequin. Right, so his grandmother found the mannequin. It says it implies, remember, oh yeah, that she was walking in after he left. Curiosity, intuition, this is the ones when I'm telling you, don't ignore your intuition, and if you feel like something's off and all this kind of stuff, right? And so now this continues. This is episode 4, it continues. And so she got rid of the fucking mannequin and he flipped out in this episode, right? And like on his gram, like, oh, don't you touch my stuff. Like she went a little crazy in him, right? And then he apologizes, like, I'm sorry, like, like a bipolar nut, like, you know what I mean? And listen, if you are diagnosed as bipolar and all this kind of stuff, I said, notice I added nut to the end of the diagnosis. I'm not talking about just all bipolar people, I'm just a bipolar nut, okay? So don't be offended, okay? So yeah, so 1 year before he completed an entire 3-year enlistment, he received an honorable discharge March 1981, right? Consistent drinking impaired his ability to function. That was what it was like listed as, right? So yeah, yeah, he enrolled, right? This is before he enrolled in Ohio. He was expelled after 1 semester. 6 weeks after murdering first victim, he was enrolled in Ohio State and expelled after 1 semester. He became a regular at the gay clubs, and then he became blacklisted in the bathhouse because he left dudes unconscious in there, and the guy in the bathhouses who once welcomed him told him, get out of here, get out of here. And it was like a whole thing and stuff like that. And yeah, so like it was like, crazy, cray. And then what else? And we say I want to get through so we can keep on getting through, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so episode 4, second kill. So his second kill. So episode 4 was his second kill. And he did this in a motherfucking hotel. A hotel, the Ambassador Hotel. Can you not, like, did you watch my episodes 1, 2, 3, episode 3, part 1, episode 3, part 2, and this is episode 4 right now? Whatever, but did you watch when I'm talking about energy, frequency, vibration, and aligning yourself in your truth, alchemy, energy, and all that kind of stuff powerfully, and how the universe will conspire in your favor? Because this is the only thing I can come up with, because even the way that he removed the body from the hotel, right, and all this kind of stuff makes me wonder, like, they didn't elaborate how him going to get a suitcase and all this kind of stuff, but don't we got checkout? Like, I think about when we stay at hotels and stuff like that, and or Airbnbs, and we got to be out, like, you check in by 4, let's say, and it's always the later time you check in by 4 p.m. but checkout time is like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, so I don't know how and what I don't know, I don't know how it worked back then, if there was a checkout time. I don't know. But anyways, episode 4, second kill in the hotel, he accidentally took sleeping pills himself. Oh my God. So yeah, they show this. So you know how he usually crushes up the, spoiler alert, right? He crushes up the stuff and then pours it into their drink and stuff like that. And mixing it in the bathroom, hiding it from the guy that he brought into the hotel. The guy knocked on the door, like, hey, what you doing? And then, like, opened it all of a sudden, and for whatever reason, his drunk ass took the wrong cup and realized it upon first sip, but already started fucking. He was even in the bathroom, he was like smacking himself, like, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. So he got a little taste of his own, like, juju medicine over there. He was like smacking himself. But this mofo, you think that he will motherfucker Carmen, like, let me, like, slow down. Let me just have a good night, right? Because supposedly, the second kill, make this make sense. This is what I mean about how can we really take even that, what he says. You got to take what he says with a grain of salt too. Because this is a man that's saying, oh, I have nothing else to lose and all this kind of stuff. I'm already caught out there, so I'm just going to be cooperative as can be, right? I'm going to be as cooperative as can be, and I'm just going to say everything and all this kind of stuff, because we have to get to episode 7, and I'm going to tell you about what I think about. I'm like, what? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because all of a sudden, too, but the implications, again, we don't know anything, too, but I'm going to look more into that, too. But either way, that's not about that or this. But either way, he says he accidentally, that he didn't mean to kill this, his second kill, which is the first guy he killed, which is 9 years ago, right? The hitchhiker, his name was Steven too, and this guy happens his name to be Steven too, right? Hold on 1 second. Hold on, my dog wants to get down. Hold on. 5,000 years later. I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up because we covered a lot, and I do want to overly emphasize again the bigger thing that we can take from all of this, of me watching it. If this is too much, my daughter was telling me too, she's like, Mom, that her friend started watching it and got up to like episode 2 or 3 or whatever, and stuff is no longer going to partake. I said, well, you can tell them to watch my recap. If anything, I'll watch it for you, and we can get through the evolutionary part, the revolutionary part, the part that we can learn from, grow from, rise from, and, you know, really benefit from in a much more evolutionary way, you know what I'm saying? So so sorry, I was just like responding. So yeah, so let's go back to his first kill, right? That's what we're gonna say. So sips tea. Right, so second kill happens to be a guy named Steven, and they try to play this like him dumb, like, mind you, supposedly, let's check how true that is too, that he kept the IDs of all, he kept, how true is it that he kept the ID of all his victims. Okay. Kept the ID of all his, so this like signature trademark, right? Because they usually say like if you're gonna be a sadistic kind of like killer or serial killer or some, there's memorabilia, right? You have some kind of leveling of memorabilia or something to commemorate, like, you know, like that's why he kept some skulls, you know, memorabilia of some of the people that he's killed and all this kind of stuff. So anyways, 9 years later, second kill, guy happens to be named Steven too, does it in a hotel, claims, going back to that, he didn't mean to do that, that he finally got the guy to drink the drink, right? That's what he was talking about, that he accidentally drank it and he was in the bathroom smacking himself like, dude, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, right? Because he was persistent, right? Because this was an opportunity for him to like go back on whatever plan he had in mind. So how can he not have, see, that doesn't make sense, make it make sense. How can he have not meant to kill the guy? He claims to have woken up and to a dead body and like freaked out, like had these blackouts, like does not remember, right? Does not remember killing him. The guy is bruised all over and like he did not mean to kill him. How is that true? How is that true? How is that true? How is that true? How did you not mean to kill him? Unless he was doing what he was doing to the people in the bathhouses, just leaving them there unconscious. Like he wants to do to them whatever he wants to do to them while they're unconscious. And then like, and then leave them. And they don't know what happened to them or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so in episode 4, after he got himself high, I should have taken that as a motherfucking sign, high off of those same things that he was trying to make them knock out with and stuff like that. He still kills this guy, wakes up, and wow, another dead body next to me, all bruised up, and they show like some kind of like remorse or like, oh, what did I do? Kind of just because I don't know. Like, is that remorse? Is it? Did that really happen? Because if you hear this guy being interviewed, he seems to not have remorse, and then he tries to play it out like he don't know. Oh, like in one of the episodes, he's like, oh, his name was Steven too. You keep their IDs. That's why I wrote that down, right? How true is it that he kept the ID of all his victims, right? Because that's like a signature serial killer kind of move, to keep some type of memorabilia and stuff like that. That's just how distorted and twisted their minds are. They want to keep memorabilia of something, right? To look at all the people you've dismembered, remember them as they were. You can forget a face, but you got their ID. Anyways, how he gets away with this is he all of a sudden has this huge suitcase and puts the dead body in the suitcase and leaves the Ambassador Hotel, right? So we see a lot of repressed homosexuality here, right? Acting out violently in its own blackout kind of way, right? Right, so the killing began again in 1987. See, my sister was born. My little sister was born in 1987. So that's that story, right? Woke up to a dead body, accidentally killed him. I don't know how you accidentally killed him when you were insistent on freaking drugging the dude so that you can just lay there and like, I don't know, like let your repressed homosexuality do what it wants with him, right? And while he sleeps and nobody has to hold you accountable for that, which you do. So I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, so that's episode 4 in a nutshell. So I have questions and things like that I'm going to look into. So you know how we go back and forth and stuff like that too, because there's certain kind of things too. So what we did learn is like the depiction here in episode 4 of him drinking blood is supposedly not true. Not sure how much of this psychopath you can absolutely believe everything that he says, because although he appears to have been cooperative, there's a big question mark in episode 7 that we'll get to that I have about that. I have, so to question his amount of credibility and honesty, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, about that, right? So what did I write here? Wetness, vagina, bum with compulsion, right? Trying to be a good boy those 9 years. What about a wetness of vagina? I don't know what I wrote here, but I'm trying to see. Look, women brings women home sporadically. Cherie or his dad. His dad brings home women sporadically, but right. And then also just the framing of his mind, like found part of femur, the first victim, in his dad's backyard when they dug this up, trying to smash bones inside wet, right? This is him too articulating certain kind of things. Like if you try to smash the bones or something, the insides of it is wet, so you can't smash it into a powder, right? So he decided to put some stuff in an oven to dry it out so that he can be able to smash it into bits and into a powder, scatter the bones around in the entire yard, scatter them around and make them kind of feel like they're always a part of him. But think about the logic that goes into that, like to even know all that leveling of depth of like insight to say, hey, you're gonna have to dry it out too. So try roasting the bitch so that you can smash it into, it's like me drying herbs and stuff like that so that I can crush it, or putting it into a grinder so I'm making it palpable, like crushable and pliable, like wow. He believes, oh, and then also another important thing, he believes he was born like this was always how he was. After Hitchhiker, he wanted to be able to suppress, didn't happen for 9 years, or was it a gestation period? Was it the gestation period of the energy, frequency, vibration that I was telling you about, of all the building, the planning, the conspiring with the universe, right? Sexually aroused is showing him getting sexually aroused while he cuts up his victims, very much so like how organs looked, holding it like if it's like a shiny piece of metal or gem or crystal or something like that, the way that I get with crystals and tarot and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, like you see how much excitement, or animals, you know what I mean? Yeah, viscera, right? Sexual organs arousing, right? Shiny term is viscera, sexual organs arousing. Anyways, so yeah, if there's a lesson here to be learned, I'm just gonna like overly emphasize again, is to, in your nuclear family, whatever that be, let you be the breed of seed that's going to be the exact thing that is needed here for us to unify, harmonize, and be everything that we need to be and want to be for each other, with a heart of compassion, love, to really be that safe place that someone can come and open up. And even though you might not be equipped to handle that which might be shared, at least you're that person that they can go to with care and have out there. And then together, with the support that maybe they need and maybe didn't feel that they had or were looking for or wanted, can, find better solutions than ignoring shit, ignoring the people that we claim to love because we don't know how to handle something. So many people do that with their kids. They don't know how to handle a kid's emotions because they're so tapped out of their own that they just ignore. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's not do that. Anyways, this is episode number 4. Thank you so much for tapping in, turning on, tuning in. There is a playlist for this Netflix series, Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, so that you can easily find it. So this is going to be episode 4 on that playlist. Make sure to watch every single other one. Episode 5 will be coming soon. Make sure to subscribe, hit that like and that notification bell. Help me grow my channel in every kind of way. If there's anybody else that you know that will love this kind of, dissection of evolutionary revolution in today kind of stories, and implying and infusing it with our evolution in every kind of orgasmic kind of way, then share my channel on that too. So I'm gonna find out some information based off of the questions that I wrote down and stuff like that to cross-reference, and we'll talk more about that in episode 5. If you have any questions or any other kind of evolutionary dives that you would like to take part in or discuss, you know what to do. You got to comment and let me know, and that is what's up. Either way, there is a master link that I will be sharing that has every single link for you and I to further connect upon. I am so thankful. I am so grateful. I am appreciative of each and every one of you, for all new subscribers, for returning subscribers, for upcoming subscribers, and all that kind of stuff. You're dope as can be, and may we learn and harmonize together instead of creating excuses and projecting and pointing our fingers and stuff like that. Let's really find the better resolution for all, for the greater good of the all, in every single way that we can, in every kind of way. So this is Evolutionary Babbles. I hope that you enjoy it. Until next time, love and divine alchemy to each and every one of you. Bye bye.